Okay, so every once in a while, when I'm talking about enumerated powers or human rights as the Constitution views them, or I'm ridiculing the idea that there's the checks and balances work, or I'm denying some federal power based on reading the Constitution. Somebody will say, some little smart aleck will say, you must have not paid attention in high school civics. I said, well, in order to believe the omnipotent government version that we're all supposed to believe, you didn't really have to pay very much attention. I walked away thinking everything that people now get upset at me for not thinking anymore. And I was not a great student. The thing is, at some point after school, I started picking up books and I started listening to lectures. And I started seeing that the nonsense that I was taught in my high school textbooks was just that. Pearl Harbor wasn't some attack that sprang out of nowhere. It was the result of a response to our embargo, so our sailors and Marines were killed because the government wanted to interfere with Japan making war. None of our business. Okay? It's terrible Japan's making war, but again, none of our business. Our greatest presidents like Woodrow Wilson, I learned that he was a piece of trash that every American should grow up and despise. For getting us involved in for getting us involved in the war that became World War I, which is about to die out. They're about to settle their stupid ass differences and do treaties, and then Woodrow Wilson, rotten-toothed, insane bastard, sends a bunch of our people over there, our ancestors, to die for no fucking reason at all. And people celebrate him. I think he's got schools named after him. I learned that, after all, FDR and the New Deal not only weren't a departure from Herbert Hoover's policies, or an intensification of Herbert Hoover's policies, that FDR, by the way, ran against when he was running. They didn't end the New Deal, the Great Depression. They turned it into the Great Depression. They prolonged it. They increased suffering. They increased deprivation. And World War I did not get us out of it. It turns out killing thousands of people and destroying property doesn't bring prosperity. And that Vietnam, we could have just won Vietnam if only. No, we couldn't have. All of these things you learned in school are lies. The government is cancer, our politicians are incompetent, and the federal government hates us and our liberty.